Hello everyone, this is Mr. Kozlowski and welcome to Unit 6 on Matter. Today I will be discussing learning target number 3, and this is the last learning target of the unit, and today we're going to be talking about classifying matter. So the learning target states that students will classify matter as atoms, elements, compounds, solutions, or mixtures, and the series of skills that you have to do is very straightforward in this learning target. Number one, you have to define those following vocabulary words stated in the learning target. Number two, you must understand the basic structure of an atom, and you're going to do this by identifying the particles in an atom, their location, and their charges. And then finally, you're going to have to differentiate between elements, compounds, and mixtures at the atomic level. So that's going to involve you explaining things and showing a good understanding of not only do I understand the structure of an atom, but can I use it to determine, oh, is this a mixture or is this a compound, or what type of matter is it based off its atomic structure. So pretty straightforward learning target, and this will also transition us into Unit 7 when we talk about the periodic table and get into some chemistry. So classifying matter. Matter is kind of this general term that we use a lot of time, or many times, and basically what you have to do is break that term down into more simpler parts. And what we use generally is a flowchart to help you with that. So if we look, and I've kind of pieced this together slide by slide, let's start with kind of this concept of matter. And the question I ask of students is, let's say we have a piece of matter. Let's say it's a piece of paper. And we have to ask ourselves a little bit about the composition, and the question is does it have a variable composition? And what I mean by that is is it made of more than one thing, or is it made of a uniform substance? That's what I'm asking. And if the answer is yes, it has a variable composition, meaning it's made of more than one thing, it's a mixture. So a mixture is made of many types of particles, and the samples of mixtures show different properties within that type of substance. And basically, particles that dissolve evenly into liquids are called solutions. That's a type of mixture. So mixture is basically when we have more than one type of piece of matter combined together, either chemically or physically, to make up a mixture. If we go back to our original question on matter, let's say we have this piece of paper here. Does the paper have a variable composition? And if we say no, it doesn't, it means that it's a pure substance. And the pure substance is basically a piece of matter that is made up of one type of particle, and all samples show the same properties, whether it's chemical or physical properties. So that's the first question we have to ask us. If it's got a bunch of different things in it, it's probably a mixture. If it's made of one pure substance, it's a pure substance. So understand that that's different. Examples of pure substances, elements would be an example of pure substances. So just kind of keep track of that, and we'll talk more about those terms later. So pure substance. Well, there's actually two types of pure substances. We already discussed one, and that's an element. And if we look at this flow chart here, the question for a pure substance I ask, can it be broken down into a simpler part? And if the answer is no, it's an element. An element is basically a substance that's made of one type of atom that we can find on the periodic table, and we use elements to combine to make compounds, which leads us to the opposite end of the chart. Again, if we go back, all right, we determined that this piece of matter is a pure substance. Can it be broken down into simpler parts? The answer is yes. It's a compound. So basically, a compound is a type of matter that is made of one type of molecule. And molecules are going to contain two or more different types of atoms or elements. So if we look at examples of element versus compound here, an element would be example of an element would be helium that would be found in things like the Goodyear blimp. Water, or pure water, would be a compound because it contains two different elements, H2O. You've probably heard of that chemical formula. Well, water is made of 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, so those two elements combine together to form the compound of water. That being said, you also have to know about the basic structure of an atom, because that's the term I've used to describe elements. So an atom is the basic unit of a chemical element, and these are extremely small units that make up all matter. So atoms, we're going to study them quite extensively when we get to the periodic table next unit, but you have to know the basic structure for this unit. The structure of the atom is used to determine many properties in the matter, and basically if you look in the picture, you have to know about these terms in terms of the structure: electron, proton, neutron, and nucleus. What do you need to know about this about an atom for now? The 3 subatomic particles, protons, neutrons, and electrons. And then also you have to know the location of each particle and the charge of each particle. If we look at protons, protons are located in the center of an atom. We call that center the nucleus. The nucleus is made of 2 things. Protons is the first one. Proton has a charge that is positive. So to answer the questions, protons located in the nucleus or center of the atom, and they have a positive charge. That's essentially all you need to know for protons. The next one we have is neutrons. Neutrons are located in the center of the nucleus along with the protons. So what makes up the nucleus are protons and neutrons. And neutrons are what we call neutral, or have no charge. So the charge on a neutron is 0. Finally, we have electrons. Electrons are located outside the nucleus, and they're located in these what we call rings or orbits. And we'll talk more about that next unit, but just understand that an electron is going to have a negative charge, and its location outside the nucleus. So fairly simple basic structures of an atom. You have to know this. So again, 3 things: proton, neutrons, electrons. Protons located in the nucleus, positive charge. Neutrons in the nucleus, no charge. And then electrons outside the nucleus, negative charge. So to review, basically here's what you need to know. Number 1, you need to classify matter as an atom, element, compound, mixture, or solution. Number 2, you need to appropriately identify basic structures within an atom. So those 3 subatomic particles: proton, neutron, electron, and then the nucleus as well. And you need to differentiate between types of matter using your knowledge of atomic structure. So for example, if you have an element versus a compound or a mixture, you must talk about the atomic structure, whether or not the element has a single atom, or the compound has more than one type of element in it, and more than one atom to make up that compound or molecule. You must understand and differentiate between that. So that's going to take some practice, more than I can talk and show you versus lecturing, but we'll practice more about this learning target in class. And then again, make sure you take good notes on this video, and if you have any questions, please bring them to class. Thank you very much.